So, who's gonna tell the next story? How about you, Sir Monk?
Guys. I got this.
That's got nothing on me. Robin, my friend, just sit down. You're drunk.
I said I got this. If you don't let me talk, I'm gonna leave.
Fine, go ahead. Carry on.
So first off, guys, I'm super drunk. I pray you.
Shut up, man. You're drunk.
You're so lame. You can't even get laid.
Sorry, he's drunk. Once upon a time, there was a really old guy. He was a carpenter. This old guy was married to a beautiful young woman who he adored very much. She was a wild child, and he tried to control her. With them lived womanly Nicholas, who was a promiscuous young man. In short, Allison was a harlot. One day, when the old man was away, Allison felt lonely. Fortunately, Nicholas was there to keep her company.
Allie, I need you right now, or I will die. Love me right away, so help me God.
But my husband, I can't kiss you.
Don't tell anyone about this.
Sometime later, Allison went to the church in order to confess her sins.
This is good a place to fall as any.
In this church lived Absalom, whose long hair shone and whose taste in music was impeccable. He was notorious for hitting on all the women of the church. He was also scared of farts. That night, Absalom went to the carpenter's house and had planned to serenade Allison. Doing so caused the carpenter to wake up.
Allison, can you hear me?
Please tell me you can hear him singing as well.
God knows I can, John. What do you expect? I'm hot.
After that night, Absalom was determined to get Allison to notice him, to the point where he willingly became her slave. It was a failed attempt, since Allison was so in love with Nicholas, she couldn't care less about Absalom.
To think about the girl you love and hold.
On a day when the carpenter had left his house, Nicholas and Allison created a plan to trick her simple-minded husband. For 2 days, Nicholas stayed inside of his room and would answer to no one's calls. If the carpenter was to ask, Allison was told to say he was sick. No one bothered Nicholas, and he did whatever he wanted. The carpenter eventually began to worry.
What's wrong with him? What if he's dying? Go to his room and see what he's doing.
Master Nicholas, what the hell are you doing in there?
The servant ran back to the carpenter to tell him what she saw, and that she believed Nicholas was crazy. Following this occurrence, the carpenter sat down to talk to Nicholas.
Nicholas, what's wrong?
God has sent me a vision. There's going to be another flood, like in Noah's time, that will purge the world of the evil. Forget about your servants. It's God's plan.
What's God's plan?
You must take bathtubs up to the roof and tie them with rope. And when the flood comes, when you're sleeping them, you'll be able to float and stay safe. But you and your wife must stay as far apart as possible to keep the sin apart so that God will forgive you.
Well, if it's God's command, I'm down.
That night, the carpenter, Allison, and Nicholas went to the roof to sleep. Once the carpenter was passed out, Allison and Nicholas snuck away to sleep together. The next day, Absalom decided to go to the carpenter's house to confess all of his love for Allison.
Allison! Oh, Allison, piss off! Just give me one kiss and I'll leave you alone. Fine, pack her up. Girls don't have beards!
Later that evening, Absalom returned to the carpenter's house with a ring.
Allison, if you kiss me, I'll give you this golden ring. I'm blind!
In the end, everyone believed that the carpenter had gone crazy, and Allison was, for lack of a better term, screwed.